Alright guys, back, and now I'm gonna do this week's new episode of Green Lantern. This episode is episode 3, actually, and it was entitled Razor's Edge. Um, this episode basically kind of focused a lot on Razor, the Red Lantern that, Hal captured at the end of the first 2 episodes entitled Beware My Power. So basically Hal and Kilowog are taking Razor to a prison. They take him to a prison where he can be held accountable for his crimes. Basically the warden are actually these spider people. And in this episode we get a tidbit of a certain yellow element that kind of wields Green Lantern's a little powerless in this. And this also played a big role in this episode too. So when the spider people basically, when Hal and Kilowog hand Razor over to the spider people, they think, he's just going to go serve his time in jail, the usual stuff, for a criminal. However, what they do is the spider people basically put a machine on their head to inflict their greatest fear, relive it over and over and over. But what we didn't know is later on, which I'll get to later. While Kilowog and Hal are flying back, gets to Oa and talking to the Guardians about what's going on, to turn their attention more back to these Red Lanterns, as they call. Some flying little wingbat, one-eyed wingbat, is flying alongside their ship, and Kilowog, he sees it at first. Hal doesn't see it, and he's like, Kilowog's like, "Did you see that?" And he's like, "What? See what?" He's like, I'm not crazy. I saw something." And then finally, he jumps on, and they both kind of, and it's almost like a Scooby-Doo moment, like, and then that's when Hal and Kilowog come out. They come out the ship and basically look for this individual, this winged creature. They capture it, and they find out that this creature is actually a prisoner that escaped from the prison. And he tells them that the spider people, the warden, they're not what they seem to be. Because one thing you notice is that in this prison there were no other prisoners actually. And we start to realize, they start to, to skeptical of something. And that's when we go back to the Hal and Kilowog break back into the prison to see what's going on. And they start to investigate that a lot of these things are not coming to fruition. And then they realize that the spider people, they get captured by the spider people. Right before they're about to use their rings, they can't use it. That certain yellow, is basically malfunctioning their powers. And the spider people come in. And at first, the Kilowog and Hal are doing pretty good, handling themselves without their rings. Unfortunately, they get overpowered and they're webbed up. And then we find out what happens to the other prisoners after they are pretty much almost mesmerized for their own past misdoings, their greatest fears. We find out that yes, the spider peoples actually eat these people. They eat the prisoners, and I knew it. I even said it. Me and my bro even said it. They're eating them, and
after a prisoner's captured, they don't come back.
They don't come back. It was just like, okay, there was a lot of clues. So what happens is the artificial intelligence, Anya, is basically, she comes to the Hal and Kilowog's aid, but she goes to Razer first to basically help get him out of his trap first, and to tell him that whatever you're seeing is not real. Razer knows it's not real. He knows it's not real, but we get to see like he had a lover and everything like that, and we get to see how he became a Red Lantern, and he wants to relive that no matter how much pain it causes him, because he gets to see his lover once again. A little touching, that was, you can say whatever you want about, say, that's mushy stuff or not, but it was, you got to give it to him for that. In the meantime, he runs back to the ship and gets his ring, and then he goes in to help Hal and Kilowog. There's a great battle that pursues after that, and it was really funny. I loved what Hal said in this. He's like, I was kicking butt before I even got this ring, and I was squashing bugs even longer. It was kind of funny. So after they're doing stopping the spider people, Hal appoints the winged prisoner. I'm forgetting his name right now. As the new warden of this prison until the Guardians are sending a new prisoner, a new warden. So he's there for a time, and they take Razer with them to join the team. He joins their team. However, Kilowog's still a little skeptical about it. Like, how can we really trust this guy and things like that. It was really good. I really enjoyed this. Not bad. I really enjoyed. I like where they're going with this. This episode did really focus a lot on Razer, and showing a little bit of why he became the way he is. He even found out that the inhabitants of the planet that he thought he destroyed was actually saved. So we're starting to see that maybe he's not as bad as it made him out to be, especially in the first episode, in the first two episodes. But I really enjoyed it. Not bad at all. As always, guys, you tell me what you thought about this episode if you saw it. And as always, on to the next. Take care, guys.